What's up YouTube, Saf here on SuperSaf TV and welcome to another epic SuperSaf style camera comparison. This time between the iPhone 7 and the Samsung Galaxy S7. This has been probably the most requested video on the channel recently, and in the usual style we'll be covering both the front and rear facing cameras and looking at images as well as video too. Do also look out for the audio icon in the corner of the screen, and that will indicate to you which device the audio is coming from, and I'll be switching between these two to give you guys a better idea of the differences in audio as well. So we're currently using the front facing camera. We're sort of outdoors and in my car, and this is the sort of quality difference that you can expect. We're going to be heading outdoors, doing some rear facing camera video tests, and then we'll do lots of image tests in lots of different scenarios, including low light. So do hit that thumbs up button and let's get straight to it. So now we're outdoors with both cameras and got a decent amount of light, so this should test out the dynamic range that we've got on both as well. And we're filming at 4K. Although this video is exported out at 1080p, this does mean we can crop in further and get lots more detail. Now let's take a bit of a walk to see how good the stabilization is on both. They are both mounted to the exact same device, so let's just do that. And we're just going to walk a little bit more sort of strongly to see how they handle that. So now just testing out the autofocus on the iPhone 7. So we're going from something that's far to something that's near. Seems to be doing pretty decent. Now same lighting on the S7, and I've said it before, but I don't think there's anything that matches that dual pixel autofocus. It's just crazy fast. Now before we continue on to images, a very quick thanks to our sponsor for this video, which is Dbrand. Dbrand have a huge selection of quality skins for your devices, and right now you can pick up custom skins for the iPhone 7, 7 Plus, as well as the S7 and S7 Edge. I'll be leaving a link to them in the description below, so definitely do go ahead and check them out. Now disclaimer, all images that you see in this video have been taken on auto, and I haven't tweaked any of these settings to keep things as fair as possible. This is how most people will be using them. So starting off with some selfies, we've got your standard SuperSaf style car selfie here. And straight away you can see that the S7 does have a much wider angle of view. So if you are taking group selfies, this is going to be the better option. And it's also got much better dynamic range. If you look towards the background on the iPhone 7, the highlights are completely blown out, whereas on the S7 the background is much better maintained. I also like the colors better on the S7. On the iPhone 7 they are a bit more on the yellow side, and these are problems that we also had on the 6S, so can't really see too much of an improvement in terms of the quality of image because we had similar issues with the blown out highlights. But one thing we do have is a 7 megapixel sensor compared to 5 megapixels last year on the iPhone 7. The S7 has a 5 megapixel sensor for the front facing camera. So if we go in 100%, you can see that we do have more detail on the iPhone 7 and you can crop in much further. But if I was to pick one here, it would definitely be the S7. Now moving on to an indoor selfie in relatively low light. So this is under room lighting. I actually like the iPhone 7 here a little bit better. I think it's got more detail. There is definitely some post-processing going on the S7 because it's starting to look a little bit smudged if you look at my skin. And beauty face was turned off completely. So I would give the edge here to the iPhone 7. Now using the front flashes, so this is where the screen is illuminated to give you some more light in low light situations. And once again, I like the iPhone 7 here better. I think the colors are better, it's brighter, and it's also got more detail compared to the S7. There's definitely some sort of processing going on the S7. Now moving on outdoors here, you can see that we've got some great shots, some nice shallow depth of field. There's an f1.8 aperture on the iPhone 7. On the S7 it's an f1.7 aperture, and this really shows on both images. We've got some nice crisp detail as well as some nice shallow depth of field. A tad difference in color. I think this will come down to your personal preference. Going in 100%, I'd say the S7 is a tad sharper compared to the iPhone 7. If you look right towards the middle, you can see there's a little bit more detail here on the S7 compared to the iPhone 7. Now moving on to an outdoor wide image, I think both are doing absolutely great here. You've got some nice dynamic range. I really can't choose one between here. There's some very slight differences in color, but I do like both. I think outdoors both of these are going to be performing very well. Now let's really test these cameras. So bringing these indoors in room lighting, I think both are doing okay, although the S7 is a little bit more on the yellow side.
And the iPhone 7 is kind of like on this magenta sort of side. I'm not liking that sort of color tint that we've got on there. But anyway, let's move on and dip the lights down completely. And here you can see that the S7 is performing better. You've not got as much noise as you have on the iPhone 7. This is especially noticeable on the background. And going in 100%, it's more clear to see that we have a much less grain on the S7. And the colors are also a lot better. There's a bit of a green tint on the iPhone 7. Now moving on to an outdoor shot in a low light. So this is about a couple of hours after sunset. I think both are doing pretty good. You've got lots of detail as well as some nice color. I can notice that the S7 does have a sharper image, and this is more obvious when we go in 100%. You can see that we do have more detail on the S7 compared to the iPhone 7, although the iPhone 7 isn't doing too bad. Now finally, looking at an image using the rear facing flash, I actually like the S7 better here. I was expecting the iPhone 7 to perform a little bit better because of that True Tone flash, but it's gone more on the yellow side. The colors are a lot more accurate on the S7. So there we have it, the SuperSaf style camera comparison between the iPhone 7 and the S7. I think both did really well. For the front facing camera, the S7 was definitely better in good light with much better dynamic range and colors. It's also got a wider angle of view, so if you're somebody who likes taking group selfies, then that's going to be something to bear in mind. However, for low light selfies, I did like the iPhone 7 better. The images seemed a little bit brighter with more detail, and the colors were also better compared to the S7. So this is kind of interesting. I think it'll come down to where you take pictures more. Do you take them indoors in low light or more outdoors? Now for video, I think quality wise, both were absolutely great. I found the iPhone 7 a tad more stable at 4K. I believe on the S7 at 4K, there is no digital stabilization. It is just the optical image stabilization. Whereas on the iPhone 7, it seems like we've got OIS as well as digital image stabilization. So it did perform a little bit better there. But when it comes to autofocus, then the S7 is still king. That dual pixel autofocus is the fastest I've ever seen. It looks like Apple have not updated their focus pixels from last year. Now outdoor images were great on both. Very difficult to pick between them for outdoor shots. The S7 was brighter in low light overall. It did produce sharper images with less noise in low light conditions. However, the iPhone 7 has had a big improvement compared to last year, so we now have optical image stabilization as well as an f1.8 aperture, but it's still not as good as the S7. For audio, I'll let you guys go back and have a listen. I think both performed well, but we still have stereo sound on the S7 versus mono sound on the iPhone 7. So for me, stereo sound is always better, and it does sound a little bit more rich and full. That's what I think anyway. What do you think? Drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want to see more images from lots of different devices, then be sure to give me a follow on Instagram. I post lots of images from lots of devices on there. And if you guys want to see a camera comparison between the iPhone 7 Plus and the Note 7, then also let me know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And if you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe. I've got lots more content and comparisons coming up on here, all SuperSaf style. So also be sure to switch on notifications to see those first. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.